Well, hey there, everybody. Pat Mesiti here, and today, a man that I tell you what, his writings have blown me away. Last time I showed this, we must have got literally 100,000 views, and I want to do it again. Our nation is at stake. Who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to Trevor Loudon, author of this book, Comrade Prime Minister. It is a paint peeler. If you haven't got it yet, what are you waiting for? It's on Amazon. This book exposes our Prime Minister's little, well, let's not say little, but his alliance with communism for over 40 years. And what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about Russia, we're going to talk about China, we're going to talk about Greens, the Tills, but we're going to cover this. I want every one of you to know what's going on in our country and why this love affair with Russia and China. Trevor, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Pat. Always good to catch up with you. And thanks so much to the Australian audience for watching.
Well, we need you, Trevor, and I don't know why for the life of me. I've been speaking to politicians in this country now. None of them know what you've exposed. And let's go back. Tell us about this book, Comrade Prime Minister, and give us some proof about our Prime Minister's links with communism in this country.
Well, look, it's called, Comrade Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's 40-year alliance with Australian communism. See, most Australians probably don't see communism as a significant force in America, in Australia today. But everything around you, from the government's economic policies to the environmental policies to the Aboriginal voice referendum that was, that Albanese was pushing, all of it comes directly out of the communist movement. Anthony Albanese is playing to the communist tune. And how do I know that? Because I've been researching Australian communism for 30 years now. Now, look, before the last election, there was a few articles about Anthony Albanese's links, student links with the CPA, the old Communist Party of Australia. And this was regarded as a bit interesting that he had been hanging around with these people and being interviewed for their magazine, Tribune, etc. But it didn't really go much further than that. So that piqued my interest because I'd been studying an organisation in Australia called the Search Foundation, based in Sydney. Now, they are the continuation of the Communist Party. When the Communist Party dissolved in 1990, they put $3 million into starting up the Search Foundation. And it was all ex-communists. Then they started recruiting young people from the Greens and Young Labour left and all this kind of thing. And over 30 years, they have completely taken over the ACTU. They've completely taken over the left wing of the Australian Labor Party and completely taken over the Greens. And for 40 years, they've been nurturing Anthony Albanese and helping his career at every single opportunity and got him into the leadership of the Labor Party. Now he's their man. He is their communist agent about to implement their policies right across Australia. And I can go into detail of all of this, but that's the broad.
I'd love you to give us some details on that, Trevor, because people say, well, it's all good and well, Trevor, you say that, but where's some proof that, number one, our Prime Minister's affiliated or allianced or their man? Where's the proof of that? And number two, who are these mystery people that Albanese listens to? Are there members of his own party that are there, a union movement? If you could help us with that.
Well, I'll give you a few examples. Now, Albanese, there was an article in the Australian about 3 years ago, and it was about the Albanese's inner circle. And they mentioned a few people. And one of them, I'll give you one of them, Tim Gartrell, who's Albanese's chief of staff, former general secretary of the Labor Party, and regarded by the Australian as the second most not powerful, non-elected person in the country. Very powerful, influential. Ran the election that has won several elections for Labor. Okay, he is also a member of the Search Foundation. He is a member of this communist group. So he's right around. Penny Wong, who's Albanese's foreign minister, is as communist as he is. She has been working with the communist movement for 40 years. It's an intergenerational thing with her. And she also works with the Search Foundation.
Wow.
Then you've got Sally McManus, the head of the ACTU, who is a Search Foundation member and has used, former vice president of the Search Foundation, and has used her union power to get behind Albanese and his left-wing faction of the ALP to put him in power. So,
Trevor, I'll just tell you, you know what's interesting? When I look up the Search Foundation, I'd encourage people to do so. It mentions, well, let's just say influential people. This is in Wikipedia, folks.
yeah, exactly.
But no one talks about it in government. Dutton's not bringing this up. No one is bringing this up. The media is not bringing it up. Why is that? Why this silence? I've spoken to major politicians in this country. They don't even know what the Search Foundation is.
No, they don't. And they have no understanding of the subversive nature. Who does understand all of this is ASIO, your Australian Security Intelligence Organization. But guess what? Albanese is their boss, so they can't say anything. That's the problem. And so they can't even brief these liberal politicians or these coalition politicians. But there's a big element of cowardice here too. You know, they think...
And sorry, and this is why I need everybody to share this, to get it out, get it to news media circles, get it in front of Sky News, because we need this exposed. Sorry, Trevor, I cut you off. I shouldn't do that. I get so excited when I talk to you. I want to suck as much as I can out of that mind of yours.
This is a critical time for Australia. This is intensely critical. But I'll give two more examples. You know, Linda Burney, who was, Albanese's Aboriginal Affairs Minister. She's standing down now, but she has a deep history with the Communist Party and with the Search Foundation, and basically is his person for running the racial agitation. Now, empowering the radical Aboriginals, giving government grants to them. The Search Foundation has actually got Cubans in Australia agitating amongst the Aboriginal communities in Western New South Wales and other places. But the other one, the other one that everybody will know about is the voice referendum. Yep. That was run by Thomas Mayo, right? He campaigned across the country, backed by the ACTU, backed by Labor Left, backed by the Search Foundation. He is a card-carrying Search Foundation member. He was mentored by Brian Manning, a well-known Communist Party member from Darwin, who then joined the Search Foundation. He mentored Thomas Mayo. The voice referendum is completely 100% an invention of the Search Foundation. It is their program. They invented it. They put it out there. They got Thomas Mayo and Albanese and Sally McManus to promote it through the ACTU. They got all their Search Foundation people, many of whom have positions in Aboriginal rights movements. They got them all on board, right? So they mounted this campaign funded by the taxpayer to change the Australian Constitution. So what was this? They said it was all about empowering, giving Aboriginals a voice. No, it was about setting up a small organization which would be completely run by the communists, which would have veto power over the Australian Parliament.
Yeah.
That would have given 600 Search Foundation members veto power over the Australian Parliament. Can you imagine what that could do to Australia?
Oh, it was destroy it, which is where they're heading now. I mean,
are they going to bring it back? Of
course they will. He's going to push it again. He will push that again through states. That's what I believe.
Through local level, city council, states, they're already talking about this. I read the Search Foundation publications. They say, what do we do after the no? They were shocked that Australians voted no. They thought they had this in the bag. Well, we're going to do it at local level. We're going to do it at state level. They are not giving up. And that is a massive constitutional change promoted by a small group of communists enabled directly enabled by Anthony Albanese, who's completely in their pocket.
Give us some of the other influences and facts surrounding Albanese, because I want to target this grubby, lying, deceitful, two-faced prime minister who this week, by the way, oh, the Pope died, so he says, I'm putting a cease to my campaign, but he calls a press conference on it. And then he says, oh, I'm not preferencing the Greens. No, says on live TV, no, I'm not. Yet, on his own voting ballot card, guess who he's given the second spot to on his card? A Greens, who, by the way, is a woman that says that Israel committed genocide. And he says on national TV, I don't know who that is. Either you're an idiot or you're playing dumb. He doesn't know about this guy doesn't know about a lot of things. Doesn't know about the Greens member that he's supporting. Doesn't know about China. Doesn't know about Russia. What the freak does he know, Trevor?
Well, he knows everything about those things. He just won't tell the Australian public. He knows what the Search Foundation's doing. He knows what the Greens are doing. See, in the ALP, you've got to be a bit careful about Israel because, you know, there's a big Jewish vote in places like Melbourne and that sort of thing. And a lot of Australians are very fond of Israel.
Yeah.
The Greens are more open about their hatred of Israel.
Correct.
But the Greens are controlled by the Search Foundation too. Anthony Albanese wanted to come out for Palestine back about 2011, but he was having trouble in his local electorate. So the Search Foundation did some shenanigans there, so he didn't have to take a vote and put himself on the record. But he hates Israel. Absolutely. He does.
There's
Can't
videos
say
of him.
that. Yeah.
Pardon me?
Well, he won't campaign on that. But
No, he won't campaign on it, but his actions with Penny Wong and UNRWA prove that he does.
Look, Penny Wong spends more time on bashing Israel than virtually any other thing she does, because the Australian hard left understands that the Palestinian cause is a communist cause. They understand that the Palestine Liberation Organization, Hamas, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine are all basically communist or pro-Iranian organizations. And so that's their team. That's who they're on board with. And the Labor left are on board with this too. Penny Wong is 100% on board with it. Albo's sort of got to be a bit more circumspect about it. But I can tell you what, if Albanese... Look, what people need to understand, first term Albanese was as moderate as you're ever going to get. Wow. Second term Albanese is going to be full-on communist, because he is going to flood the country with another 2 or 3 million more third world immigrants and turn them all into Labor voters, so he doesn't have to fear elections after that. So he can just go full on, and he will.
That's one of the things that I'm hearing, that part of the role is to flood us with immigrants so Labor will never, ever get unelected again. This is why it's important.
Absolutely.
This election is... How vital is this election, Trevor?
This is the make or break election for Australia. If Australia wants to remain a Western, free and democratic country, Albanese must be defeated. Because if he wins again, it won't be a matter of coming back in 3 years. You know, look, because as I said, he brought 2 million third world immigrants into your country in the last term. He's going to bring 3 to 5 million in this term. He's going to get the Aboriginal voice passed, which will neuter Parliament. He is going to indoctrinate your kids full on for another 3 years. And the demographics, the younger kids tend to vote more liberal and more left.
Correct.
And he's going to bring in more refugees who will all love Labor to bits. So you cannot, he'll get to the point where you cannot vote him out again. That was the whole purpose of the mass immigration surge under Biden in the United States. Bring in 20 million people, make them all Democrat voters. Then you don't have to worry about the next election. You don't have to worry about any more elections. but Albanese is following the same strategy. This is a time-worn communist strategy. Mass immigration has always been a communist game. It's always been pushed by the communists.
So why this lame duck approach with Russia and China? I mean, if people can't see that, you got this mess over here, and Albanese goes, "Oh no, look over here," because of his friends in Russia and China, obviously. What's the association there with China and
Well,
Russia
well,
and everything
well,
else?
the Search Foundation was always loyal to Russia, and many of them still are. Many of them still believe that Russia is going to restore communism one day. So there's always, and they like Russia because they regard Russia as the worst enemy of America, and anybody who hates America is their friend. China, they love China. The Search Foundation, the Communist Party, has always been loyal to China. They've got quite a lot of Chinese members. They push Chinese policies. They push the Chinese COVID policies tremendously. Look, Albanese contributed to a Search Foundation book in 2022, which was all about how to use the COVID to push for a socialist Australia.
In 2022?
2021 or 2022. It's the details are in my book. I just can't remember it exactly, but I've got it all there. He launched it. He contributed a chapter. Several Search Foundation members contributed other chapters, and the whole book was about how to get socialism through using COVID. And this is what he did.
This book, folks, I've got to tell you, a friend of mine posted about this, and I've got to tell you, this book, I mean, I look at it, you've got photos. Trevor's no just Johnny come lately. He researches, backs up everything, and in the short 25-minute, we can't get through it all. Why is Albanese, well, why are other parties not aware of this? I cannot for the life of me understand it. Why?
Can I just continue a little point on Russia and China
Yeah,
first?
please. Sorry, Trevor. Yeah.
Look, you've had the Chinese Navy firing guns off your shores.
Yep.
The Cook Islands has now done a big deal with China to exploit the seabed. The Chinese are heavily involved in East Timor. But look, it was the Communist Party and the Search Foundation that set up the government in East Timor to make it a Chinese and Cuban base. And your Foreign Affairs Department and your military had to support that. But that was done by the Communist Party and Albanese and his friends. Now you got the Russians want to set up a base in Indonesia. They are coming into the area because they see Albanese and Wong as the weak link in the Western alliance. Look, Trump.
They are the
Trump
weak
needs,
link.
Look, Trump needs Australia to confront China, right? Because Australia has military bases. Australia is very strategically placed. Australia can help, keep the Chinese out of the Philippines and the Pacific Islands. But if Australia is run by a pro-Chinese communist, or two of them, Penny Wong, who's effectively the real deputy prime minister, not Richard Marles.
No.
If you've got two pro-Chinese communists at the top of Australia, do you think the Chinese might be happy about that? Do you think you think that's gonna suck Australia into the Chinese vortex? That's what it's planned to do.
Yeah. And Trevor, Adam Bant, I call him Adolf Bant, but maybe that might get me banned on social media. This man who hates Christians, hates Jews, hates capitalism, and as much as Albo doesn't say that he's for them, he seems to be in bed with this group big time,
100%.
and the Teals.
Yeah, look. Adam Bant has attended high-level Search Foundation meetings. He was a part of the left action and the Communist Party student wing. He was part of that. He has deeply in bed with the Search Foundation. Maureen Faruqi, as deputy, has also attended Search Foundation functions. And Barbara Pocock, the senator from South Australia, is a bona fide Search Foundation comrade. So is her former Communist Party ex-husband, and so are both of her children. Many leading Greens are in the Search Foundation, many of them. The Greens are just the far left wing of the Search Foundation. The Labor left is another wing of the Search Foundation. Who is really running the country are the Greens and the Labor left. The Labor left now dominates the Labor right. So, yeah, this is two wings of the communist movement, the Greens and Labor left, both who work for the Search Foundation, both of them. So absolutely Albanese's he's not going to come out and say vote Green, but he's going to do everything he can to encourage them. And the Teals are just another little wing of the same movement.
Well, you ask Albanese a straight question, you get three crooked answers. And then when you challenge him on specifics, I mean, he holds up his little Medicare card like Mr. Bean in that, I remember seeing the episode of Mr. Bean where he got his credit card, and he reminds me of Elmer Fudd, really, but he cannot answer a direct question. And when you ask him a question with facts, he gets angry. Seems to me like this man is an entitled communist. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, look, he was picked out back in the 80s by Tom Uren, Arthur Geitselt, and Bruce Childs, all leaders of the ALP left, who were all in bed with the Communist Party, all named as either secret communists or secret Communist Party supporters. He was picked out as a young, fatherless man to be molded for great things in Australia's future. He was like Obama. He was picked out from a very young age to basically bring socialism to Australia. So he is very entitled because he is the crown prince. He is the heir of Tom Uren. He's the heir of Bruce Childs, Arthur Geitselt, all of these people, and the whole ACTU, the whole Labor left has been promoting his career and his ex-wife, Carmel Tibbett, all the way through. Everywhere you look, there's got people around, Search Foundation people around him in his inner circle, in his local electorate. Richard Walsham is one of the key people there, former president of the Search Foundation, former leader of the Communist Party of Australia. These people are around him everywhere you look.
And folks, look, our time's nearly gone, but I need everyone, listen to me. And this is not about promoting the book. It's about getting truth out. Get this book, Comrade Prime Minister by Trevor Loudon. It's available on Amazon. It is riveting reading. It's a must read. We could have Trevor here for 7 days, every day, and it won't cover the information that is in here. I'm urging you, give it to your local members. I know we've still got time to turn this nation around. Trevor, I'm going to give you the final words. What does Australia need to do right now?
Look, Australia needs to vote strategically. I'm not going to tell you got to vote for this politician or that. Every electorate you are in, vote the best way you can that's going to take Albanese out. If that means some places you'll be voting for the coalition.
Put him last. Put him last.
Yeah, put him last in every preference. The Greens second to last. We got to. You may not like the candidate in your electorate, but you make sure you vote against Albanese.
Correct.
Because, if we have a communist there for another term, it won't be for a term. He'll set it up for 10 years. And by that time, Australia's going to be a mess. So take your chance, love your kids, stand up for your country, defeat this guy. Then the day after he's defeated, get involved in your local politics, clean out these gutless conservatives, get this kind of message out, start electing a whole lot of hardcore Australian patriots to every position. That's the long game. The short game is we've got to stop Albanese right now. You got to do that in 2 weeks. You got to do it.
And just be aware, Australia, not all independents the Teals are not independents. They're
Wow.
owned by the Greens, and they are affiliated with this incredible demonic evil agenda. Trevor Loudon, always great to talk to you, my friend. Again, get this book. It did not come to me by accident, but I believe it came to me through divine destiny. Trevor, thank you so much.
Oh, look, thanks so much, Pat. And look, we got to save Australia. It's just a wonderful country, and it's so critical to the West that Australia gets
It
back on
is.
track.
Thank you, Trevor Loudon. Appreciate your time.
Most welcome. Thank you. And big shout out to my Aussie friends.
I've said it over and over and over again, and it's almost like a broken record, even though we don't have records these days. No one is sending out a rescue ship to help us financially. We have to take matters in our own hands. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we have a track record of helping people find financial freedom. This time around, I'm offering you a chance to win $100,000. The consolation prize alone is worth literally in the 20s and 30 thousands of dollars. It has to be someone that wins. Why can't that someone be you? But here's the even better thing. You're going to learn strategies, tried and proven strategies. It's a skill set that will never be taken from you. It's a skill set that your children can learn. They can't unlearn what you've already learned. Click on that link. Click on that link. $27. Many of us are looking for handouts, and that's why we are falling into government control. That's why this country is in the grip of the stronghold of communism. And I'm telling you right now, it's almost like Peter Dutton wants to lose this election. I don't know what is going on. Well, actually, I do. But I want you to heed the warning and take the blessing. The reason why we're able to do this is because we've been blessed and we want to be a blessing. Your chance to win $100,000 and a massive consolation prize. And guess what? The tickets are, it's all going to charity to help children that are being left abandoned on rubbish dumps. This is a moment. Now, I shouldn't have to be begging and pushing, but sadly, some of us are so stuck in a mentality. Many of you go, well, I won't win it. Well, how do you know? How do you know? Can you foretell the future? I never thought I'd be here sharing this and being able to do this. It's amazing what happens when you come with a spirit of expectation. But on top of that, you're going to learn from the people that help me build incredible wealth and that of my clients. And as well as that, you're going to help some people. So I'm going to ask you to click on that link. It's $27. That's like not even $1 a day. And I know this can bless your life and help us to help a lot of kids in need. I look forward to seeing you at Multiple Streams of Income, the Money Shield, and I look forward to seeing these learnings